Today on CityCast Nashville, we're 2 months into the year, and many of us are still working on our 2025 goals. If joining the YMCA is on your to-do list, well, you're in the right place. Jenny Littleton is a longtime YMCA instructor who's developed a cult following for her water aerobics classes at the Margaret Maddox Y. And she's an amazing performer you might know as Debbie from Doyle and Debbie. Today, we're bonding over our shared love of live performance and the community created at our local YMCAs, and we hope some of our enthusiasm rubs off on you. It's Tuesday, February 18th. I'm your host, Marie Cecile Anderson, and this is what Nashville's talking about. Jenny, you are a beloved instructor at my neighborhood YMCA, where you teach a ton of classes. Some might even say you have a cult following.
I have a cult, that's so cute, cult following, but I'm not a cult leader, so.
Not a cult leader, but definitely a cult following. Can you tell us about each type of class you teach there?
Okay, so I teach water aerobics, I teach bar, I teach total core strength, I teach active older adults, and I teach power yoga. Those are the ones that are currently I'm on the schedule to teach.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so that is a wide variety of skills you have there to be able to teach all of those things. Where did this journey begin in your fitness career? How long have you been teaching at the Y? And then we'll also get into the cult following is around your water aerobics. So
Okay.
I want to eventually get us to that because what a class.
Yes, I love them. Okay, so I think it was about 18 years ago. I think that's about right that I started teaching, and it was Zumba. I was taking a Zumba class. And oddly enough, I used to not like to take fitness classes.
Really?
I just wanted to run by myself. Just, don't talk to me, and I'm just going to go run outside. And something happened where I just came in, started taking a kickboxing, Zumba, things like that. And then suddenly, I don't remember who it was. It might have been Sarah who said, "Would you like to teach this? You ought to get certified." So it started with Zumba in my 30s and started teaching that. And then I just sort of moved into weights. And sometimes when you become a fitness instructor, you just suddenly start getting other classes because they need instructors. And also you're already there. Why not learn a new thing? So I don't do Zumba anymore, but I did there. And I used to teach it in prison. Did I tell you that?
No.
Yeah.
Tell me.
So I taught Zumba, dance, fitness, whatever you want to call it, in prison, the women's prison, which is now the Deborah Johnson Rehabilitation Center, for 8 years as a volunteer, about every week almost. And then I left midway through that for Chicago to do a show, and then had to come back, and it takes a while to get anything restarted again in prison. But yeah, so that was a fun thing to do. I loved it.
Well, so you switched from Zumba. What came first, the yoga or the water aerobics? Or
Okay, let's see, Zumba. Then I went to some weights, and then I kind of moved into, I think, water aerobics. Someone left and they needed an instructor and asked if I'd be interested. And I thought, I don't know, would I? And I love it. I'm so glad I did. I love it. I love the people. Love that group of people. And I love it every time we get somebody new. It's just great. It's such a beautiful, kind community. They take care of each other. And they take care of me. They bake me bread, all kinds of stuff. It's great. I love them.
How often is the water aerobics class, and how long have you been teaching that?
So I started teaching that, I want to say about, maybe it was 8 years ago. I think that's about right. Maybe a little more, but I think it was 8. And now I started with, I think, maybe 1 or 2. And now I've got 6 of those a week.
Wow.
They're back to back. Monday, it's water. And then Tuesday, water. And Friday, water.
Is that all year long or just during the summer?
No, that's all year long. We move inside in the winter, but it's all year long.
Oh, I didn't know you were teaching inside too.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, I will be honest, I love it more outside because you can see the big, beautiful sky above you, but it's still great inside. And it just feels good. It doesn't hurt your joints, but you can get after it. You can get after it in that pool. You can use your foam weights and get yourself a some cardio and a little bit of strength training. It's good. It's good stuff.
I went to one of these water aerobics classes this past summer, and I think it was Sarah who was teaching.
Yeah.
I was sore for days.
Yeah.
I had no idea. And it was packed. I mean, it was hard to even find a spot in the pool to be able to do your aerobics. And I don't want to, stereotype the people that do take water aerobics, but it was an older bunch who were so nice and so welcoming to me.
They'll take care of you.
Yeah.
They will. And they'll meet for lunch and stuff. And, I have younger folks. I have, let's see, Ken. Did Ken just turn 91? He might be my oldest.
Oh.
I love it. When he first started coming to class, he had a cane. He doesn't use it anymore, and he's pretty proud of that.
Oh, wow.
He's awesome. He's just sharp as a tack and, fit, getting in there and just going after it. And I don't know what my youngest is, but I'm pretty sure in their 20s. And I've got some musicians too. I mean, I have everything in there, retired nurses, but it's fun because I secretly want to learn how to play the drums and always have, but I'm a little too uptight to try it, on my own or even so. But what I'll do is try in the water to do something, maybe one thing with one body part with the leg kick, then maybe the hand hits at a different beat and the other arm. So I'm trying to add that. And for them, I think it's really good for your brain. So we might be working on something like that for a long time, but in a fitness way. I don't know if it makes sense, but say kicking on 1 and 3, punching up in the air on 2 and 4, and then stirring the water with the other hand, if that makes sense. So, and secretly, my brain is trying to I want to get more coordinated, but this is supposed to be good for your brain. So it's going to be good for them, and we can get a workout while we're doing it. They might hate it, but if they do that, they're not telling me.
It's like rubbing your belly, tapping your head type thing.
That's it.
It's really good for you.
That's exactly what I'm trying to do, but in a fitness way.
Well, that's great for you. And then also on the flip side, yoga and balance and finding, learning how to calm those evil thoughts. I've been taking your class now, I want to say almost a year. And before you, Jenny, I really didn't like yoga.
Really?
I think it was just the judgment of my body and how I took a class years ago, and the instructor came up to me afterwards and said, "When was the accident?" And I was like, "What?" And she had assumed that I was in a car accident and I was just learning how to move again. But it was just my body.
Wow.
It was in New York City at one of these hippy dippy places. So of course, whenever I practice, I'm like, your body is beautiful. You can move,
Right.
So, but you really have taught me to really just go at it at my own pace. You always start every single class by saying this is your class. And it really is empowering. And it's so fun to even watch other people around you kind of do their thing. Sometimes they're going with the flow, following you every step of the way, or they just come in there and lay down on their mat. And, I love that you accept us as who we are. And by the end of the class, I am ready to take on the world, it feels. And so for me, it's just such a great service that you offer us Nashvillians.
I love hearing that's so kind. Thank you. And I will say that is very important to me. I don't want anyone to ever leave because they're frustrated and they feel like they can't do it. Now, if they don't like it, that's one thing. But I just want everyone to feel like in any class that I teach, I just want you to feel like, you're worthy to be here. Whatever you're doing, you are worthy of this class. So whatever it is that you do, if you want to follow every little move I make, go for it. But if you need to rest in child's pose or just sit on the mat for a little bit or completely modify every movement, that's okay. It's okay. Or you can take it, you can do the arm balances that I might not lead you into if you feel like, that's in my practice and she's not going to take me there, but I want to do that. I'm okay as long as you're safe, and you're then that's fine. Yeah.
So let's talk about the YMCA. You could go on and teach all different places all over Nashville. You could open up your own studio. I mean, you have such a following after all of these years. Why do you continue to work with the Y?
Oh, I love the why. I love the why. I love the people I work for. I love the people I teach and that teach me in class. I love that community. I don't know if you've noticed it, but I think our why is, I think it's really special. I'm not saying all whys aren't. Yes, they are. But I just love this little community of, beautiful, inclusive, kind people that want to help one another and celebrate one another. I love that. So I'm happy. I did for a little bit teach at a few other places. The only one that I would still do if I
Mhm.
could would be prison. I would go back and volunteer in prison if I could, but to get back into that, to get that program started back up would be a challenge. But I would do that on the side. As far as anywhere else, I don't really have the desire to go anywhere because I get everything I need from the Y. It's a good place.
What sort of promises have you made to yourself this year? Maybe get in better shape or eat healthier, save more money, travel somewhere new. What about discovering a new culture by learning a new language? With Babbel, you can do that in just a few weeks. I'm CityCast CEO David Plotz, and I'm having such a good time learning Spanish on Babbel this year. I'm taking a trip to Mexico City in the spring, and Babbel is giving me the Spanish foundation that's going to make my trip so much better. Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons, handcrafted by more than 200 language experts, get you to begin speaking your new language in 3 weeks, or at whatever pace you choose. And because conversing is the key to really understanding each other in a new language, Babbel is designed using practical, real-world conversations. And one way they do that is with their own podcasts. I'm a podcast listener. I'm guessing since you're listening to this podcast, you are too. And I have been getting ready for my Mexico City trip by listening to Babbel's conversational podcasts. There's a short conversation you listen to, then an instructor talks you through what happened, and then you listen again, and then you catch everything when you listen that second time. There's also a great read-along transcript, too, which I love. The one I did today was with Maria and Carmela trying to make dinner plans, but Carmela is so busy. She's way too busy with work and yoga, but finally they agreed on brunch on Saturday. Studies from Yale, Michigan State, and other universities continue to prove that Babbel works. One study found that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a full semester at college. So let's get more of you talking in a new language. Babbel is gifting CityCast listeners 60% off subscriptions at babbel.com/CityCast. Get up to 60% off at babbel.com/CityCast. Spelled BABBEL.com/CityCast. Babbel.com/CityCast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Why is fitness so important to you, and how on earth do you keep so dang positive all the time? You always have such a smile on your face at every
Oh,
single class.
and then I go home and I cry. No, I don't. But I might sit on a heating pad for a little bit.
I know you work out so much.
Well, you know what though? I don't come to the Y to work out anymore on my own. So it's only teaching, but I do teach about 14 classes a week. Now, 6 of those are only 45 minutes long and 3 of those are only 30 minutes long, and then they're just course. So see, it's not crazy. But yes, somebody once said to me, it was an artist, my friend Bonnie Bishop, who I just love. She said I was teaching her Zumba and she was thinking, oh, this woman with that smile on her face, that's getting on my nerves. And then all of a sudden she went, wait a minute, she recognized me as a character she'd seen on stage. And then she was cool with it because she talked to me afterwards. I said, well, it just brings me joy. It makes me happy. Being here, I think, movement makes me happy. Moving makes me happy if it's not painful. And if it is painful, then fake it till you make it. So, yeah.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, that, you just mentioned somebody recognizing you while taking your class. And so I had been taking your class maybe for about 6 to 8 months or so. And then at the end of class, I was feeling awesome. And you just mentioned, I have to get on a hot pink bus after this. And I was like, wait a minute. And all of a sudden it hit me like a ton of bricks. The hot pink bus you were talking about was the Nash Trash Tours.
Uh-huh.
all of a sudden, I think I rushed up to you and said, "Are you Jenny Littleton?" Because I have your poster from Doyle and Debbie signed poster right there. I have been such a huge fan of yours for so long. So listeners at home, if you do not know, you probably do, but Doyle and Debbie, musical comedy duo and Nashville staple. You started in 2006, I believe. And then the year after, every single week you performed at the Station Inn for 14 years.
Yeah.
Is that right?
And except for the time where we went to Chicago for 8 months and we performed there 8 shows a week. But we were still flying home every now and again and doing it like every other week and doing the Station Inn, which was crazy. I don't know how we survived. And then stopped in 2020 when the pandemic hit and then kept waiting and waiting to return and then finally retired it. And so
I actually was in a musical comedy duo as well. Our band was called Reformed Whores. And
that's great.
2 girls, we sang about the female experience. So,
see, now I'm learning something new about you. So this is exciting.
Yeah. Well, we had our 3rd album come out 2023. But yeah, I moved back to Nashville and my partner's still in New York. And so we kind of just have started doing our own things. But I think it's such a beautiful thing to have been together for over, for us, it was like 14 years.
Oh, yeah, us too.
But like to go on and then, just understand I'm in the next chapter of my performing career and stuff. So
wow, yes, exactly. And that's a interesting place to be, isn't it?
Yes.
You go through some little phases with that of like, and then till you kind of come up with the sun on your face going, oh yeah.
Right.
There's another chapter. Yeah.
Yes, it's really beautiful. And you're so busy. You're still working on all sorts of projects all over town. Can you share with us what else you're working on right now?
Well, so I am going to be in a little commercial it's where I'll play the bad guy for a good cause. And it may be an ongoing kind of thing. So it's sort of a campaign that's coming up. And it was going to be released soon so that I could speak of it, but now I don't want to ruin anything. So I won't, but I'll just say, I guess anybody that has a TV is going to have to look at my crazy face a little bit when that comes out end of February. And then I'm going to be the voice of Goldilocks at the library in their puppet show, which is, I think it's fun. And then there's this thing I was working on forever since like 2020 called the Dead Sea Squirrels. That was a Veggie Tales creator, Mike Naraki, who played Larry the Cucumber.
Oh, wow.
He plays my husband Squirrel. And I'm Pearl Squirrel. He's Merle Squirrel in the Dead Sea Squirrels.
Wow.
And that is coming out very soon, like within a month. So.
Oh, wow. Well, in my opinion, you're one of the greatest character actors in the South.
Gee whiz.
Well, I grew up with Ernest P. Worrell, and so I would definitely compare you to Jim Varney.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, he was my favorite growing up. So I just am so excited to see, what's next for you. We'll be on the lookout for this commercial. But having performed all over, where's your favorite place to perform?
Oh, goodness. The Station Inn. And second would be the Ryman. But the Station Inn, I just love it more than anything. It feels like home. And we did do Zanies for a while. And there's nothing wrong with Zanies. Zanies is great. But the Station Inn feels like home. The Ryman feels like sacred. That one is just, and I've been lucky enough to get to perform on that stage a few times. And it's holy. It feels just, the acoustics are amazing. And there's just a beautiful energy in there. I think the way it kind of circles around, like it feels like it's just sort of, everybody's sort of wrapping around you or something. I don't know. Or maybe that's just my imagination. It feels like that. But anyway, yeah, Station Inn is always going to be my favorite. I would have said the Children's Theater years ago because I used to do a lot of children's theater.
The Nashville Children's Theater. That's where I began my career at like 5 years old. My mom signed me and my sisters up for summer camp. Martha Goodman.
Oh, wow. Yes, I remember Martha because I taught some of those camps, which would have been weird if I taught you. Wow. But yeah, I used to teach teach camps there. I do love performing in the Johnson Theater at TPAC. I guess I've liked every place I've ever performed, but Station Inn has a special place in my heart. And the Ryman is just kind of off the charts wonderful. So, yeah.
Yeah, I had the honor of playing the Ryman right after COVID. Yes, this was a horror story, though, because, my duo was supposed to perform and my partner got COVID that week.
Oh.
So I had to go on solo and I hadn't performed in 2 years because it was COVID, the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I did it. And I mean, I practiced so much and I had to change everything. I had to rewrite all my jokes and I only did 2 songs. I've been dreaming of that moment since my older sister had graduated on that stage because she went to Hume Fogg. That's where they had graduation. I was like, well, if my sister can be on there, I can get up there and perform. And so it was really.
And isn't it interesting? Like, cause that's basically doing stand up, right? If you're by yourself. So isn't that the hardest but most wonderfully rewarding things, like the stand-up thing, even with the bus tour, which is kind of like doing stand-up?
Yes.
It feels so rewarding if it goes well, but it was the scariest thing. Being on stage with other people, I still get anxious and nervous, but you've got other people. When it's just you.
Yeah.
And everyone, they're waiting for you to deliver.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So yay for you doing that, because that's huge.
I know, going solo, and I've bombed and I've been great. And, it's just such a
You don't learn anything unless you
ride.
bomb. At least that's the way I look at it. And
oh, yeah. And I mean, you have this one tiny little life. And so I just feel as though if I can make people laugh with this life, then I'm doing something right.
You got to tell me the next time you're playing, I'll come.
Oh, yes.
I just had said the other day, I want to go start seeing stand-up.
Oh, yes. Well, you too. I want to come see you perform for sure. So you'll keep us posted. I'll keep everybody posted. We'll all come together and have some laughs. So, well, Jenny, this has just really been a dream come true chat with you.
Well, it's so great to talk to you. It's always a delight to have you in class. So what an honor. I feel really honored that you asked me to do this.
Oh, well, Jenny, thank you so much for being on CityCast Nashville.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That's all for today here on CityCast Nashville. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend? Rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our Hey Nashville newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Toodles!